Today I'm reviewing 3 of the lowest rated kitchen products I could find on Amazon Spain. One of them didn't even come in a box, and one of them even cost me $100. Now you may be asking why Amazon Spain? Well, I live in Portugal, so I can't use Amazon US, and the closest one I can use is in Spain. But the funny thing about Amazon Spain, and I think most of Europe, is that everybody's super nice when it comes to their reviews. Even if Europeans think something is terrible, they usually won't go out of their way to publicly bash it into the ground. Nonetheless, I chose to review a toaster, a set of pans, and a coffee maker, all of which were the lowest rated products in their category. Let's start by reviewing this toaster. The TriStar BR1057 double long slot toaster. This thing wasn't even that cheap. I paid 28.35 euros, and right off the bat, I'm pretty disappointed in the packaging. I don't know if this was damaged in transit or if it came like this from their warehouse. All right, let's open this bad boy up. Okay. Ooh. There she is. I hear some rattling around in there. I don't know what that is. Oh, look at this right here. What is that? Oh my God, it's broken. No, that's what that rattling around is. No freaking way. There's literally a giant piece of plastic that is completely broken off from the edge of this toaster. That is not a good start. Oh my gosh. All right, we're gonna go ahead and continue with this review because this is not going to inhibit us from actually making toast. It's just cosmetic, guys. It's totally fine. Oh, wow. All right, do all the other things work here? You know what? See, what's happening here is when you push this thing down, if you wobble it a little bit, it gets stuck on that broken piece. So this really could interfere. I mean, let's face it, if I ordered this thing and I really needed a toaster, I would return it immediately. So if we look at the overall reviews on this toaster, it's a 2.5 out of 5. But there's only 12 reviews, so there's not that much to go on. But what caught my attention was that 48% were 1 star. Basically, half the reviews were 1 star. So what were these negative reviews? What went wrong with this thing? This person says double toaster not working very well. The regulator is fatal. Now keep in mind that this was in Spanish, so it's all translated, so some of the words might not make sense exactly, but we get the idea. The regulator is fatal. At the very least, it is what should be normal, and the spring does not come back up. So the spring, so I'm guessing this thing here is what they're calling the regulator. And I guess the spring did not come back up, so it was broken. Something to do with this was broken. Burn the bread. I returned it because it burned all my bread. It didn't matter if you set it level 1 or level 6. So they're saying that this little knob here, whether you put it at 1 or 6, it didn't matter. It didn't do anything. It always burned the toast. Broke the first time it was used. Before we could toast our first toasts, the temperature controller broke off. Apparently very poorly made and not worth the price paid. We'll send back. Dang, so this little knob right here broke off. This one seems like it's on there pretty good. It's pretty sturdy. I don't think that's going anywhere. Buttons work okay. It also has a super short cord, which can be a problem depending on your kitchen setup. This thing's what, like maybe a 3-foot cord? Okay, so we got it all plugged in. I've got my sweet white bread. I felt like white bread was a good choice because you could really see how well it gets toasted. I do like how long this thing is. Can you fit 2 pieces? You can. So you can fit 2 pieces of bread on each side. So you could toast 4 at a time, which is nice. A lot of times the toasters are smaller and you can only do 2 pieces at a time. So that's pretty good. So I think to start, I'm gonna put it on 1 at the lowest. All right, I'm gonna put it at the lowest, and we're gonna put 2 pieces of bread in opposite corners, just like this. And let's see if this works. Okay, so the spring stayed down. Is it on? It's on. It looks like, I'm looking at all the little wires that heat up. They all look like they're red. It's smoking, and I smell like, it smells like burnt metal. I mean, it is the first time we're using a toaster, and oftentimes, the first time you use any kind of appliance, you do get a smell of either like plastic or metal. So that's not necessarily something to be concerned about. Okay, it's not smoking anymore. I think that was just the first few seconds of a new appliance. So that's fine. I won't take any points off for that. Holy sh! I just got jump scared. Woo! Got jump scared. My own toaster jump scared me. All right, so this was a 1. This was the lowest setting, and the bread is not burned. Okay, I would say this is very lightly toasted. Working as intended? Yeah, working as intended. All right, it popped back up, everything's off, nothing's freaking out. So now we're gonna do 2 more pieces of bread, and I'm gonna move this thing to like 3. Because it goes to 6, this is 3, so this should be like a medium toast. All right, we'll put that back in there. All right, I'm not gonna get jump scared this time. I'm ready for it, okay? That's why I don't do scary movies though, guys. It's not like the blood and the gore and all that stuff. It's the jump scares. I hate that feeling. I hate that feeling in my chest like I'm gonna have a heart attack. I'm gonna move this a little farther away from me. Oh! Damn it! So this was on 3, this was like the medium setting, and I would say that that's an appropriate medium toast on there. Yeah, I think that's totally fine. Okay, so my final thoughts. It's kind of a piece of junk, and it's overpriced. I mean, if you're gonna get a piece of junk, you should be paying piece of junk prices. You could probably get something like this for 15 bucks maybe. I don't know. Less than 30 though. This thing was about $30. That's way too much for what it is. And they shipped it to me broken, which it happens, okay? It happens. However, with a product that has the lowest rating I could find, and then it comes already broken, that's just not a good look. Nothing else was broken though. The items that people were complaining about on their reviews are working fine on this particular one. And it did the job. I mean, at the end of the day, the toaster's supposed to do its job, which it did. But for me, the final verdict is don't buy it. There's far better toasters for probably less money out there. I'm sorry, TriStar. Do better, maybe? I don't know. All right, guys, next up are the pans. Yeah, these are pans. They didn't even come in a box, okay? They're not gonna break, but they're not like super sturdy. Put them in a box. They're 3 aluminum pans. What does it say? What does it say? Set of 3 printed aluminum frying pans. I don't know what printed aluminum means, but I don't have high hopes for them at all. I paid 14 euros, okay? So what, like 16 US dollars? For 3 pans? I'm excited to try these though. We'll see what happens here. All right, here we go. Pull them out. All right, so they're wrapped in like a clear plastic. What does it say here? Quid is the brand named, Q-U-I-D. Made in Spain. Okay, oh, assembled in Spain. Assembled in Spain. Okay, this says carbon steel frying pan, non-stick coating. You can put it on a gas stove. You can put it in induction, but you cannot put it in an oven, okay? Because it has plastic. Any frying pan that has a plastic handle, you cannot put it in an oven. That should be obvious, but you never know. All right, they're super light. I mean, they're aluminum, so they're really light. What do we got here? This is, oh my God, this is so cheap. Like, this is what I guess they mean by printed. You can see the indentation of the handle yeah, you can see it on camera, inside the frying pan here. Oh my God. You know what this reminds me of? When you go camping. And in fact, this may be good if you want to buy like a camping set or something like that, because nobody wants to spend a lot of money on camping, cooking gear for camping. They're so light, that's crazy. Let's inspect the coating here. Okay, no, that was just some loose debris type stuff. So there's no visible damage. At least they shipped it properly. I mean, I don't know if it was properly, but there's no damage to it. There's a couple scratches here on the bottom, but this is gonna get so scratched anyways. Does it sit flat? That's another thing that really makes me upset with pans and pots, is if they don't sit correctly, if they're not flat. Okay, it is. Okay, that one is. This one's got a little bit of a wobble to it. And the small fry here, no, the small fry's okay. You know what? After closer inspection, the medium-sized pan is dented. I can see it here in the reflection. I don't know if you can see it. Let me try to get it on camera. Yeah, look at that. Look at all the dents. That's why it doesn't sit flat. That's not good at all. Most importantly is, can you cook with it? Well, we're gonna find out right now. So for our test here, I decided to use the little small fry guy, and I think the easiest way to do this is to make an egg, a fried egg, because that way we'll test the heat distribution of it and see how evenly it cooks. We can also test the nonstick surface and see if that does work. Look, I can already tell I don't like this thing because although it wasn't damaged or bent in the process of shipping it, look at how flimsy this thing is. This is not what I want on a cooking surface. I want it to be sturdy. I want it to be a flat bottom where it doesn't wobble like this. I mean, I hate to say it's also kind of dangerous, but I mean, if this handle was out here and you just walk by and you hit it, like this thing is gonna go flying. So you're gonna have a super hot frying pan that's possibly gonna go flying. Okay, so I'm just gonna put a little bit of butter in here. We'll see how this melts. What you will find with aluminum pans, especially if they're super thin like this, is they'll heat up really quick because it's a thinner material. It takes less time for it to heat up. But you also have to be careful because it's easier to burn stuff because it gets so hot so fast. All right, let's pour the egg whites in first. Let's kind of spread them out. That's another thing that bothers me a lot about certain pans. If they're not even, you'll get some of the liquid that goes all to one side like it is here. It's all pooling up here. So the cook time's different. Over here, it's gonna get done a lot faster. So we'll put the egg yolk right in the middle here. Yeah, look at that. You see how it just slid over to one side? Like, to me, that's unusable. I would never put up with this from a pan in my kitchen. Absolutely not. Yeah, look, you can see what's happening here. Over here, this side's gonna be done real soon. Over here, I still see clear liquid. Okay, so for me, that looks done right there. Let's check the nonstick part. I even put a little bit of butter in this. So yeah, it's nonstick. I don't see anything sticking to the pan there. So I think that's good. I mean, the coating is doing its job. So if we look at the overall reviews for these pans, they're terrible. 1.9 stars out of 5 with 206 reviews. 70% 1 star. That's amazing bad. 70% of 206. That's a big number. All 1 stars. So what happened here? What happened? What are people saying about these things? Poor quality. They are not nonstick. I can't agree with that, guys. We tried it. We tested it. That was one of the things we looked at. The nonstick worked. I did use a little bit of butter, but rarely would you ever throw anything into a pan without putting oil or butter in it. So I think it's fair to say that the nonstick part of this pan worked fine. They lasted only 1 use, burned on the underside, and even dented. So I can attest to the denting, at least on the medium. You can see it right here. This is all, yep, this is all dented right here. So I will agree with that. We didn't burn it. We didn't burn it. Now keep in mind that we use an electric cooktop. Maybe if you used gas with an actual flame, that would burn this because maybe this is a coating. It's purple, which is a little weird. So it's either color that's been put on here or coating of some kind, which with actual flame could potentially burn it. I don't know. We didn't test it that way. Terrible quality. There are of terrible quality, almost perforated at the junction of the base with the handle. Yeah, they're talking about this right here, which is what I commented on. Yeah, you can see it right here. This material is just so thin, guys. It's so thin, they had to find a way to attach this handle, and I'm not defending it. It's garbage. It's garbage. This junction right here, it's almost protruding through the wall of the frying pan. So yeah, I agree there. Trash from frying pans, total deception. The worst frying pans of my life. Don't even think about buying them because they're not even good for frying an egg. Well, oddly enough, guys, that's how we tested it. We did fry an egg, and it worked. There's nothing wrong with the egg. It fried just fine, so I can't agree with that. They don't even have a base, but when they get hot, they start shaking and moving from one side to the other. Yes, we saw that. We saw that. It's just poor construction. That's all it is. Poor construction, very thin material. It causes it to wobble like this on the cooktop, and eventually the food is just gonna slide to one side and it's gonna cook uneven. That really bothers me. Here's one that says fatal, fatal, fatal. They all hit right from the start, and when I went to fry an egg in the little one, and I saw that it stuck in the pan, inside it went black. I hallucinated. I can't make out what this I say. Are they saying they hallucinated because of some like chemicals that were burned off or something? I don't know. This is a little dramatic to me. I don't know about this one, guys. I don't know. I did wash it first, okay? And I've said this in another video. If you get new kitchen gadgets, appliances, products, whatever, wash them before you use it. You don't know what kind of coating is on here. You don't know. That first piece of toast that we did in the toaster, throw that away. Maybe the first couple pieces. Or turn it on and just leave it on for a few minutes. Let all that crap just burn off. You don't want that. All right, guys, I've seen enough of these reviews. My final verdict is they're awful, okay? You got what you paid for. I'm either gonna return these. I don't even want to donate them. I was thinking about donating them. I don't want anybody to have these things. I'll probably just return these, guys. All right, let's move on. And now for the lowest rated product I could find that still cost me $100. It's this Scubeskitchen Freestyle Compact Dark Coffee Maker. Okay, it's a coffee maker. Now I have a coffee maker. It's a little Nespresso, one of the single shot guys, one of the little guys. We love it. Never had a problem with it. We've had it for like 3 years. So this will be interesting to compare. I will say that the packaging's nice. They did an appropriate job. Okay, so this looks somewhat similar to the Nespresso thing that we already have. Oh, okay, it's got suction cups on the bottom, you can hear that. That's kind of nice. Mine actually doesn't have that. Why isn't there ones on the front? Well, that's kind of weird. They put the suction cups on the back, but now it just moves this way. What? All right, looks wise, it's pretty cool. It's sleek, kind of modern looking. Okay, it's the water reservoir. Yeah. Yeah, they took all the necessary like little packaging precautions. They put this little rubber guy over the little syringe that draws the water out. Okay, that's good. They tape this closed. That's nice. How does it sit in there? Does it sit in there nicely? Yeah, it locks in there pretty good. All right, this, I guess, probably goes like that in there. All right, yeah. Pretty self-explanatory stuff here. Okay, so that locks it, so that can't come out now. This little dude gets put in here. So there you go. That's the whole thing. Already done. Looks pretty good. I hope I got the right one, guys. I don't know why this thing got such terrible reviews. Let's find out. If we look at the overall rating for this thing, it's a 2.7 out of 5. Not very good. And 127 reviews. 45% were 1 star. 32% were 5 stars. So this is one of those things where it's like a lot of people either really liked it or really hated it. So let's see what these reviews have to say. A bad Scubeskitchen coffee maker, a worse Amazon service. The coffee maker is correct, easy to operate, but the capsule attachment is not functional. It does not pierce them well, leaving only water instead of coffee. So they're talking about this thing, when you put the little capsule in here and you go to pierce it, they're saying it doesn't pierce very well and just a bunch of water comes out. All right, so that's something to look for. Not worth choosing this model because of the accessory it wears, which was my case. 6 months after you buy it, it doesn't even have the strength to foam in the coffee. Okay, well that's a problem if it's only lasting 6 months. I will never buy an appliance on Amazon again. All right, you can't end your review like that. It's so overdramatic. You can't say, oh, I'll never buy an appliance on Amazon. Whatever, dude, whatever. They probably have already bought more stuff on Amazon. Very bad coffee. especially coffee made from Nespresso capsules. Tastes like plastic. Okay, good design, good branding and versatility, but the most important thing is that you make good coffee, and that's not the case. Very watery and with a very pronounced plastic flavor. Well, that's not good at all. Again, guys, this is an example of an appliance that you want to run by itself before drinking it. Don't be a dum-dum and drink the first cup of coffee out of a new machine. Don't do that. Yeah, it's probably going to taste like plastic. We would settle for it to work with one of the systems. Unfortunately, it doesn't work well with either system with Nespresso capsules. Wait a minute, can it use both? No way. So my machine only can use the Nespresso capsules. Oh, no way. It says it right. You can't. It says suitable. Suitable for ground coffee, Nespresso, Dolce Gusto, Senseo, and ESC pods. So you can use all kinds of pods. That's a plus. That's a plus. But apparently it doesn't work very well. So what happened? With the Nespresso capsules, it breaks only the upper part so that releases dirty water. We've heard that before in another review, so it doesn't pierce it properly. So I've seen enough reviews. Let's get down to testing this thing out. I'm guessing these are all the little attachments. So we're gonna put the one for the Nespresso in here. All right, so let's plug this thing in here. I'm gonna go fill this up with water. I'm gonna get some coffee, a cup, everything ready to go, and then we'll make some coffee. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do, the same thing you should do, is just run this without any coffee in it. Just water. You wanna rinse the system out at least once. Probably 2 or 3 times. I'm gonna do it twice. I'm gonna rinse it twice. Now, one person said that it smelled and tasted like plastic. Let's see something here. Let's see something. Okay, then it beeps when it stops. Yes, it smells like plastic or burnt, or hot metal. That's to be expected. So whoever put that review, it did not deserve a 1-star review for that. I'm sorry, that's just common sense, guys. You have to, it even tells you in the manual to rinse it with water a couple times. Now, for the big test, guys, I have with me an espresso pod. So first thing we want to see is, does it properly fit in here? Kinda, sorta. As you can see, I don't know if you can see it, it doesn't, it wobbles, okay? It doesn't rest in there the way it's shaped. Now, you can get it to kind of sit flat. You can see the puncture here, like the little needle is right here. So I'm gonna put this down and it's gonna puncture that. Now, does it click into place? Whoa. All right, it doesn't click into place or anything once it's been punctured, but it does rest there and it's not wobbling. All right, so we're gonna call that good. We're gonna put this back in here. We're gonna lock it. I'm gonna do just a single shot. You can't see it, but it's not coming out. It didn't work. And this was something that was listed on the negative reviews. There may be truth to this, guys. There may be truth to this. Okay, so let's take it out. Yeah, there's just water. There's coffee grounds and water surrounding the capsule. Well, guys, I hate to say it because this thing is fairly expensive. The 1-star reviews are right. This doesn't work properly. I don't know about the Dolce Gusto or using regular coffee grounds, but if you want a machine that uses Nespresso capsules, this ain't it. This is not the first time this has happened. It's all over the reviews, in the comments, and it just happened to us. It's not a coincidence. Something in the design is not working right for this product, and I would have to agree, 1 star. I'm gonna return this whole thing. I'm probably gonna return all of these items, to be honest with you guys. Yeah, this one fires me up a little bit because it's $100. So, Scubeskitchen, do better. Well, there you go. 3 of the lowest rated kitchen products I could find on Amazon Spain. If you like this kind of video, let me know in the comments what else I should review. And as always, thanks for watching. Okay, bye.